2022 for the backyard. Oh boy. Yeah, this was a way bigger year compared to 2021. I'll tell you that one. As I actually was way more active this time. Great. So that means more events to go through than 2021. Oh, great. But you know what? They were all really good. That you know what? Frick it. Let's just do it. Anyway, without further ado, in this Saturday Stories, I'm going to be talking about every single backyard event in 2022. Let's jump into it. Surprisingly enough, we're going to skip January entirely and start already in February because there were no events in the backyard in 2022 in January. That's right. Yep, we just skipped January entirely and just go automatically to February. So, the Valentine's Day Party of 2022, the first event of the year, because, yep, no events in January. Yep, we just skipped that month entirely. It started on February 14th and ended on the 19th. As you would expect, this was just a regular Valentine's Day party, where there were a ton of awesome items and decorations seen around the backyard as well, which was really, really cool at the time. It was nice seeing all these decks, and for it being the first backyard event of the year, made it look really, really awesome. A lot of decorations were red, which made sense. But ultimately, that was really cool. We even had some of the 4th of July flowers. This was around the time I was starting to not really have any decorations for the actual Valentine's Day, which would be later fixed a year later in 2023, by the way. Because now I have some. But I'll admit, though, this was a very fun party, even though it only lasted for 5 days. I'll admit, though, it was way longer than last year, by 2 days. And it was back to just being standalone, so that was something. It was a nice way to start off 2022. And without further ado, let's jump into the next event. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, this was the only event in February, by the way, was Valentine's Day. We jump automatically into March. Yep, this year's already off to a crazy start. And what better way? The second event of the year happens to be the literal longest event of the year. The Lanai Renovation Project. Why do I consider this an event? Well, it technically took place across both the Lanai and the backyard itself. Which, throughout these events that we are about to talk about, this project was going on for quite a long time. And by a very long time, it actually ultimately hit the record for the longest backyard event since 2017's Christmas party. It started on March 16th and ended on June 17th, lasting 3 months in 1 day. Yep, that's right. March 16th to June 17th of 2022, ultimately surpassing 2017's Christmas party of just 1 month, 31 days. Lasting a total of 32 days, baby! Or maybe even 33. But ultimately, that is like 93 days or something. Yeah, 93 days! Oh, just non-stop madness in that one for 3 months, and not even including the backyard too. But there was so much with this project. I'm not gonna go over it here. I'll make a separate Saturday Stories right after we hit a year. But oh boy, this was a long project. It took up a lot of the backyard space for a few months. Yep. That's right. And even the garden disappeared around this time, which showed, yeah, we weren't messing around. As the months went on, more was added to the lanai, giving it the way it is now, which you could tell this was a long project considering this footage is from April. So you could tell, yeah, this was a long one. What else did we do? The pool was ultimately being filled back up after a month, so that was nice. And we even went on the frickin' roof of my house, holy frick. Yeah, that was nuts. We literally went on the roof of my house during this project. It was frickin' nuts. I have never been up here since, and honestly there's no reason to now because there's no reason to go up here anymore. Yep, I only did it once, and there's no reason again, because holy frick, it is dangerous up there. But oh boy, I just had to make a video, and it had to be in this project some sort of way. And even our goddamn bar and fans were added. Holy frick, we did a lot with this project. Like I just said, this project lasted from March 16th all the way to June 17th. Lasting 3 months total. As there was so much going on during this project that it took an extraordinary a long amount of time. But I couldn't be just doing that the entire time. Oh no, I did a ton of other stuff. But yeah, ultimately it went for that long, and with that being said, that's it for this. On June 17th, 2022, the Lanai was finally complete, ultimately concluding this project after 3 months. Many other events were going on during this time, however. On March 17th, the 2022 St. Patrick's Day party was held. It started on March 17th and ended on March 20th. It was back to being more than just one day, as I told you in the previous Saturday stories about 2021. So I wasn't joking about that. But yep, there were still events going on during this Lanai project. Again, such as the St. Patrick's Day party. Due to the project only beginning, the party was pretty small. And well, yeah, it shows. Yeah, this party was pretty small for the most part. There wasn't really that much done to the backyard during this time because of this project. And it showed that, yeah, events were going to be a bit small during this project because I had not really that much time, and it showed. So yeah, even events were affected by this process, to the fact that, yeah, I even had to reuse a ton of decks because I couldn't go out and get more because of the project at the time, because of how stupid busy it was. And by the way, some rooms were just closed off entirely because of this project. Yeah, that's right. The field and Trina's of the Garden were just straight up closed off for like 2 months at the time. Or just 3 months at the time. No, sorry, 4 months until July. So that was nuts. Yep, the field and Tree Next to the Garden were just straight up closed for 4 months. And were not usable in events until like July, which was freaking insane. I know, that's insane when you think about it. And ultimately, yeah, you could tell the party was extremely small because of that reason alone. I was now limited to using only a certain amount of rooms, because half the backyard was blocked off during this time, which means I could barely use half the rooms, which meant I was only limited to like 1/2, which was the workshop, shed, pond view, and tripod area. Yeah, I know I set that out of order, but the point is, who cares? There were still items during this party, however. Some of them included a background, as we could see here. Okay, that's just the little item interface, but the point is, yeah, there was still some stuff being held here. And that was cool. Now, ultimately, we did, I think, have the gold shamrock. Yeah, we had the gold shamrock things from 2020 and 2021. Actually, I think it's since 2020, actually. And it was for the scarf, actually. Oh, yeah! Next up! The 900th episode party for Backyard Videos. It started on March 27th and only lasted the 1 day. Like the 800th episode celebration, where it only lasted one day. This time, however, for the first time in 2 years since 2020, there was an actual milestone celebration. But this time, it was actually completely different than you may think. There were almost no areas decorated. Once again, this could be due to the ongoing project at the time, but also because I wanted to try something completely new. So only rooms such as the side yard, which, speaking of which, that's now its permanent name as of March of 2022. It is now officially just called the side yard after the removal of the garden. That was the only area in the backyard decorated outside of the workshop, and I'm not even joking. This was all also taking place at night. So that was pretty sweet. So yeah. So ultimately, what did we do? Well, we did have a little soccer challenge. Hence, well, this madness right here. And ultimately, we also had basketball as well in the front yard, which made it extremely cool. We even had a little baseball in the front yard as well. And lastly, we had cornhole in the garage, making this a pretty nice milestone celebration. With that being said, that's it. That is it. I have nothing else to tell you. We did do a project, I think, at the end. Or at least some of it, actually. Anyway, the next event is actually a combination of two. The April Fools plus Backyard Events 5th anniversary. It started on April 1st and ended, I think it ended, I don't remember actually. I know that date down there is wrong because it didn't actually end April 4th. I think it ended April 5th or something. I don't remember, but the point is, this was a combination of two, and I wasn't messing around with this event. Like I said, this was a combination of two events. The April Fool's Party and the Backyard Events 5th anniversary, which means during this party, while there were decorations dedicated to April Fool's Day, due to it being the 5th anniversary of Backyard Events, there were decorations based off of every single backyard event that has ever been held. Well, at least each themed backyard event. Yep, just each backyard event in general. Like 4th of July party, Christmas party, Halloween party, just basically that. And well, it sure delivered, because oh boy, those were everywhere. Yep, we had basically everything at the same time. And it was awesome. This was way better than the 2021 party, where it was merged with Easter. Which, speaking of which, we're about to get to in a minute, because there wasn't really much to say about this party, outside of, well, just having these two things combined. It was really nice. But also, you ultimately had to remember about the limited amount of space I had because of the projects. I ultimately could go so big. Ultimately so that ultimately, if we screenshot the quote-unquote, pond view, yeah, let's just say we could only go so far. Because ultimately, yeah, we could only get to the pond view. Because, yeah, you guessed it, field and tree next to the garden were blocked off. I know I could have used the side yard, but I didn't feel like it at the time. But, yeah, these parties were becoming very small. Because I was limited with so many rooms. Anyway, with that being said, yep, there were decorations basically dedicated to almost every single event that you could think of. And that was cool at the time. And that was really awesome. So, let's move on. Yeah, see, I told you we were going to get to this next. I have a lot more to talk about here compared to the previous event. But yeah, I forgot to mention the propeller hat was available there as always in the April Fool's party. But we did have an Easter shirt, which was really cool at the time. I think I had an Earth Day one, but I showcased it on Earth Day. Speaking of which, this was the Easter/Earth Day party of 2022. It started on April 17th and ended on the 24th. Which, I think this was actually the first event since I think the St. Patrick's Day party to end the day it's supposed to. Well, actually, I think since the 900 episode party. To end the day it was supposed to. Anyway, once again, these events were extremely small because I was limited to certain rooms. And I just didn't have much going on with these events. Ultimately, yeah, you could tell these were small. We did have an Easter egg hunt again, but it was way smaller compared to the year prior because I only had 8 eggs. In fact, I'm pretty sure all of them are gone now, so I don't really care, honestly, at this point. I'll admit, though, this was definitely worse than the 2019 Easter/Earth Day party, though. I will admit, this was way weaker. But again, we had the ongoing project at the time, so this made sense. That it was pretty weak. But there was one egg in particular that was stupid. And I mean stupid hard because of the pool water. That's right. For the first time in the Backyard Events history, we could actually go inside the pool without water. This was only a one-time thing, though, as we weren't really supposed to be able to do that. But that was a nice little addition for the Easter egg hunt. And yes, this event was held on the day of Easter. Anyway, that's really cool. But my God, that last one was super difficult. It was a lot of the eggs were hidden in places that were related to the Lanai project ongoing at the time. So I'll admit that was super cool. Yeah, a lot of these were hidden in places that were related to the ongoing Lanai project because it still wasn't complete at the time. So I hid eggs related to this project. And that was a super awesome idea. And it truly showed. And yes, we did have some Earth Day rooms. Don't worry. Yep. We did have some Earth Day rooms here. Like this one, for example. Speaking of Earth Day, on the other hand, of course we weren't going to forget about Earth Day. No, we had a shirt and everything. It was freaking awesome. Yep. We had a shirt and everything. I told you I wasn't joking about that part. Ultimately, we did have a recycle hunt unlike the year prior, which was nice. Yep. For the first time since 2020, we actually did have a recycle hunt. So that was something. And I'm pretty sure those lights were broken at the time, so I couldn't do anything about them aside from throw them out. But yeah, we did have the recycle hunt, so that proves something. And that's all that needs to be said about this event. I have nothing else to tell you outside of, yep, we did do the recycle hunt, which was awesome at the time. Which proves that we did not forget about it. Oh, and yes, we even did an Earth Day project. Now, that gold egg was there on purpose as one of the Easter egg hunt eggs, but we could only do it by doing the Easter project, which never ended up actually happening because of how late at night it was at the time. But yeah. Yep. The recycle hunt, which was really sweet. Anyway, let's move on to the next event. Remember how I said 2021's Celebration of Spring was an absolute piece of junk? This completely changes that. 2022's was way better. It had way more decorations compared to 2021. In fact, I had to buy entirely new decorations just for this party alone. It started on May 5th and was originally supposed to end on the 12th. However, it ended 3 days later on May 15th because I forgot to take it down. Yep, this was the first event of the year that stayed up longer than it should have. Outside of that Lanai project, but that was for other reasons. The point is, this celebration of spring truly proved that it was better than the year prior. Because ultimately this time, there were actual spring decorations this time. And well, this right here proves I wasn't joking, and I'm pretty sure I still have these. Or not. I'm not sure. Point is, I truly had all of these decorations. These were all new decorations at the time, mind you. Which was really awesome. Fun fact, I had to literally buy all these last minute before they were all sold out. And the spring scarf actually made its debut this time. Which was awesome. So yep, this was an actual celebration of spring this time. Yep, this was an actual celebration of spring this time. Which was awesome. Proving that I actually did learn from the year prior. Which was awesome. With still being limited with areas, I could only decorate 4 areas. But it was fine. As I was also starting to run out of decks at the time because I didn't buy that many. But I did buy just enough for 4 rooms. As I could only do 4 at the time. Because those areas were closed off. With that being said, yep, you could tell this was way better than the year prior. And there's a shirt for this party. Speaking of which, I am actually wearing this shirt from this event actually right now. While talking about this event, actually, I am actually wearing the shirt from the event right now while talking to you about this. I'm not even joking. I am literally wearing this event's shirt. Literally right now while talking about this. So yeah, that proves it was actually really good. And it didn't actually blend into the shirt this time, unlike the year prior. So that was awesome. Outside of that, that's it for the event. Not really much else to say. I'll tell you though, it was way better than the year prior, proving this was actually a success this time. Of course we have to hold another one. And of course we'll do the same for 5 years. Just different. The Backyard 4th Anniversary Party. It started on May 24th and was originally supposed to end on May 28th. However, it ended a day later on May 29th because I forgot to take it down. But ultimately though, I can understand why this time because I was actually busy that day. Because I had to take down another event at the time that day, so that couldn't be understandable. And I was just busy in real life that day in general, so I can understand why. But, yep, May 24th ending the 29th. It was originally supposed to be the 28th. Anyway, like all the other anniversaries for this backyard, the backyard was decorated with tons of decorations dedicated to past events. And once again, a shirt was made. In red. Yep, there were rooms decorated as events from the past year once again. Such as this being decorated from the Workshop Rebuild project, which I never mentioned in 2021. I forgot to tell you that. But that technically wasn't an event. It was just a project. The only reason I did the Lanai project is because of how stupid huge it was. Anyway. Yep, we had stuff like the Winter Party 2021, which we mentioned earlier. Celebration of Fall 2021. That was really cool. Yep, Winter Party. That was super cool. What else did we have? We had the Backyard Games unreleased one. Which, by the way, we did have a Backyard Games this year in 2022. And will be again sometime in 2023. Of course, because the project was still going on at the time, I had to do it. And I did it for those pond view. No, sorry. I did it for the field and tree next to the garden because those were still ongoing. Actually, sorry. This was Valentine's Day. So this was actually the first time in 2 months that I could decorate the tree next to the garden despite it still being completely trashed. I could only pick a very small room because I was still limited. But ultimately, it worked in my favor. And lastly but not least, we had the 900 episode party celebration from March of 2022, right when the project was still ongoing, right when the project was just getting started at the time. Anyway, that's it for this party. Let's move on. This next one is probably the most unexpected one to ever be occurred in June. And yes, there was actually a June event this time. 3, 2, 1, the water party! And it was the only water party held that year. There was no water party in August. And for a reason, I'll tell you later. Anyway, the water party 2022. It started on June 18th and, well, was originally supposed to end on June 23rd. However, it ended 2 days later on June 25th. No, not because I forgot to take it down. I extended it because I was having way too much fun with it. Yeah, I purposely extended it because I was having so much fun with it. Ultimately, the Water Party 2022. This event was really cool. And this was just literally the day after the Lanai project finished. So that was awesome. Yeah, this was literally the day after the Lanai project finished, which was awesome. Which meant I could actually make those rooms big again. Yep, I could actually start making the events big again. Which was awesome, because this was just right after the project finished. Which meant, yep, I can actually make these big again. Because I was no longer busy. Which was amazing. With that being said, that was so cool. This party introduced all new water guns and just all new water themed stuff in general. Because basically everything from all previous water parties and summer parties were completely gone when this party started. So ultimately, that was so cool. So this party was held purposely to finally put the water party in a different month after 4 years, and because of all the new stuff that we got for the water party, or just for the pool in general. But some of this stuff didn't last long, like the Frisbee and Aquaflyer, for examples. Yeah, I'll get to that later, as ultimately this year was the end of those two things. I'll talk about it later, but I thought I'd just bring that up. Now, because the project was over, we still could not use those 2 rooms for like another few weeks until like early July when we finally cleared them out on like July 7th. So yeah, it was only going to be a few more weeks until we could use those rooms again on July 7th. But this was actually like one of the last events where we couldn't use them. The third to last event. But yeah, the water party was a huge success. We had all this new stuff. And the slingshots. Those were never there before. Which was amazing. Proving so much more could be gone into a single event that isn't just rehash stuff. Which, to be quite honest, nothing here was rehashed from the previous water party. Proving you can truly make something new and actually make it good. That was what this water party was. And even a new pool noodle was introduced during this party. That's right, you heard me. An entirely new pool noodle was introduced during this party. That being the turquoise one. That's right, a pool noodle was introduced. Ultimately, that was really, really freaking awesome. And that's it. There's nothing else for me to say about this event. It was just so freaking awesome. The next event to occur in the backyard is one that actually had not been seen since 2019. But I brought it back because this year was a big one for me. the Final Days of Being 19 party. It started on June 25th and ended on the 27th. It was originally supposed to be June 23rd to the 27th, like the Final Days of 16 party. But since I extended the water party, I ultimately started it 2 days later. As the name would suggest, this party celebrated not just the year of me being 19, no, how about all years that I was a teen at the time? I compiled basically everything from those past 7 years. And it was awesome, showing that I did a lot during those 7 years. And ultimately, it was so awesome. It was way better than the original Final Days of Being 16 party. Yep, it truly showed I could truly think of way better things. It looked so freaking awesome. And with that being said, this was amazing at the time. It truly showed how much I did in those 7 years. And I'm truly proud of this party. Throughout each room, you would go to a said little message, and by clicking it, it would bring you to the said message via my phone. My phone would pull up the said message related to the said year, which was so awesome. And that was amazing. So everything was decorated. Every area was decorated. This was second to last event before the field and tree next to the garden were reopened. But point is, this was so much fun. And with that being said, now that you got the whole premise, let's move on. The next party to occur in the backyard for 2022 was 4th of July, 2022. It started on July 4th and ended the day after on July 5th, lasting just 1 day. This was way better than the 2021 4th of July party, because more than just 4 rooms were decorated, and more than just the usual 4 at that. The entire backyard was decorated during this party. And when I mean the entire backyard, I mean the entire backyard was decorated. In fact, we had all new decorations. Brand new ones at that. And it was awesome. Proving that we did not just use the usual decorations, but a ton of new ones at that. Truly showing that we had a lot more going into this party than all other years prior. Seriously, this was freaking amazing. The pinwheels, though. The freaking pinwheels. Those were freaking awesome. We still reused basically every decoration, but in a different spot. But most of these were brand new decorations at the time. And I think I still have all these today, so look out for that for this year's, by the way. But yeah, stuff like the shed and side yard, all of those were updated. Even the workshop was updated for the first time ever for 4th of July. This was awesome, showing that I finally learned that I could just expand with these parties. And that was awesome. That's what made this so cool. Not only did we have new decorations, but I finally expanded to the rest of the backyard after 4 years. I truly went all out. The same can be done with Lego Island, which I already talked about a few Saturday stories back. 2 episodes back. Truly proving I wasn't messing around. And, well, as awesome as this party was, the next event basically defeats all of that, unfortunately. Next up, the Summer Party 2022. One of the smallest summer parties of all time. It started on July 23rd and ended on the 24th, technically lasting a day and a half. This party was a lot smaller than you may think. Probably even smaller than 2020's in June. Holy frick, I never thought I'd say that. But it's true. This was the first backyard event since March to purposely open up the field and tree nest of the garden. And they basically all still look like this today. Which proves that, yeah, they were finally reopened. I didn't reopen them myself. Oh, no. That would take way too much work. No, me, my dad, and Rose all did it. This was July 7th, though, that happened. Ultimately, though, having all the summer decorations were super cool. Proving that, well, yeah, this was truly one of the smallest summer parties. I almost, fun fact, never held this event because I thought I didn't have enough for it. Finally, I put my foot down and I ultimately put up some decorations. As I did not want to go this year without a summer party. As that would break tradition. It would actually. Which is why I finally did it. So ultimately, I did make a summer party after all. That was awesome. Even though it was rather small, it was still at least something. And I'm glad I did this. Because I almost thought I would go the entire year without a summer party. Which is not a joke. I legit almost thought. Oh, and here's a better screenshot of the event, by the way. Yep. This proves it was rather small. And it proves that, yeah, it was rather small. Yeah, it was a rather small event. Unfortunately. But at least I got one out regardless. Because I almost thought that was not going to be possible this year around. I literally almost canceled the event entirely. Which would have broken tradition for not having a summer party every single year. And don't worry, I will have one. For 2023. But yeah, you could tell this was a very small summer party. And yeah, I'm just glad I got one out regardless before I almost canceled it entirely. Because it was the 5-year anniversary of the Backyard Games, I just had to make a little celebration for it. By combining every single event in the event's history. Every single sport in the event's history. It started on July 24th and ended on the 29th. Yep, this literally took place just a few hours after I took down the summer party. Yep, not joking. So these events coincided with each other. With that being said, this event again celebrated 5 years of the Backyard Games event, where stuff such as soccer and all the other sports were implemented into the Backyard Games. And even a new one, the dartboard, which was awesome. So at least we had one new one in there. And yeah, the Backyard Games was actually back this time. After not having one officially in 2021. Also, did you notice in 2021 there was another certain event that wasn't there? The bike derby? Oh, it was back here too. Just our next event. But not in the way you think. I'll get to that in a few minutes. Ultimately though, yes, there was actually a Backyard Games this year. Holy frick. And it was just a celebration. This year in 2023, we're back to an actual Backyard Games. It's not going to be a celebration this time. Nope, we're back to a more competitive one. And I promise you, I'm not joking. So that's something. Anyway, with that being said, yep, I think we had an entire spreadsheet of this event, right? Yeah, we had an entire spreadsheet, which was awesome. So that was cool. And we did activities every single day of the event. One year's worth of games per day we did in each. Oh yeah, this was the event that killed off the Frisbee. After over 5 years of having it in the series, and just over a decade in general for me in real life, this episode was the end of the Frisbee. Yeah, I told you we were going to be getting to that eventually. And yeah, throughout the episode, it kept consistently breaking apart. To the point where a day later, I ultimately threw it out. Yeah, the Frisbee was ultimately broken. That's right. I'm not joking. After all this time, the Frisbee ultimately broke apart. And that there was the end of the Frisbee. I'm not joking. This was the end. After all these years in the series, and I have thankfully got a replacement one in June for the water party, so technically I still have a Frisbee. And honestly, just in time, honestly, as this one was really starting to break apart because of it probably being in the sun for so long. And I couldn't blame it. All of its color had basically faded out. Later on, the same thing would probably happen to the Aquaflyer where all its color is faded out, which I'm pretty sure has happened by now. But I think I still have it, actually. Ultimately, I thought I'd just bring that up. Next event, guys. Yeah, did you notice in 2021 we had no bike derby at all? It was supposed to be a part of the Christmas party after not holding it earlier in the year, but that didn't happen. This year, we didn't have an actual bike derby, but we did have a little celebration for it, just like the Backyard Games. It only lasted one day, August 1st. It was to celebrate 5 years of the original bike derby. While I will have a bike derby again this year in 2023 to make up for it, it was nice. It was nice having this little celebration. As well, in this, we ultimately rode my bike around the neighborhood, which truly showed, yeah, I know, it was freaking nuts. Yep, we rode my bike around the dang neighborhood. And it was pretty freaking nuts. So, that's basically it. All there really was during this event, was, well, the only free item being the bike helmet. And that is it. Now this is where things get extremely fun. For the first time ever, in 5 years, since 2017, there was a backyard event in New York. And what better way it'd be the literal 6-year anniversary party for Backyard Videos. It started on August 25th and only lasted the one day. It didn't go into the 26th unlike previous years. This was because of the location difference. Remember how I said the 5th anniversary looked super disappointing? Yeah, that's because that was nothing compared to this. This was the New York version of the 6th year of the backyard anniversary parties for Backyard Videos. This party was held in the Buffalo House backyard. Stuff like cornhole was implemented. And we actually played that game during this little anniversary celebration. The party itself consisted of, well, technically no decoration if you don't count the cornhole boards, and just the items lying around. I couldn't really do much because I was in a different yard, which was understandable. I did stuff like a hat, which, by the way, it was hidden on the hammock as well, which was really cool. Yep, the New York hat was available due to this being held in New York at the time. This was held during the New York of 2022 plus Thousand Islands, which was really cool. So ultimately, that's why it was put there. Ultimately, like I just said, we did play cornhole in celebration, and it was so freaking awesome. It was nice having a New York event for backyard events after 5 years. That was insanely awesome after 5 years. This was the first one since the Earth Day party of 2017, 5 years prior. 5 years and 4 months prior to have one in New York. We don't count really the 800 episode celebration since that wasn't an actual event. But this was an actual event because we had stuff given out. But yeah, the first New York event in 5 years. We'll probably never get this again, honestly, I'm not going to lie. And I'm honestly okay with this. This means the 7-year anniversary will be right back in my yard once again on August 25th, 2023. I am completely fine with this though, as I am more used to doing it that way. In an actual party, like with actual literal decorations, we'll be back because of that. Ultimately, this was an extremely fun party. It was nice having it in a different location after all these years. For the first time since 2018. This was the first Back Reveals anniversary party since 2018 to have it in a different location. This will be the last time, though, as I don't see it happening again. Because I'll actually be home this year for the anniversary. And yes, I will actually be. Yeah, I will actually be home this time for the anniversary, so we'll be back in my backyard. But ultimately, though, this was so much freaking fun. And yeah, that's it. There is nothing else to say. Oh, but if you thought we were done with New York events, oh, God, no. Because the next event, the 7 Days of Fun 2022. Yeah, this was honestly a mystery event for a lot of you, including myself. Yes, if you're curious, the 7 Days of Fun actually did occur in 2022. It occurred starting August 27th and ending September 3rd. That length might seem familiar to you, as that was actually when I was in the Thousand Islands at the time, during the second half of the 2022 New York trip. You may not know this, but the 7 Days of Fun was actually held during this time to commemorate the event's 5-year anniversary on September 1st. And did we accomplish? Oh, frick yes, we sure did. You're probably wondering, I didn't mention it at all in the videos. And no, I didn't. That's because I forgot. Ultimately, though, I knew it was going on the whole time. I just forgot to mention it in some videos. And that's clearly my fault. So, let's get on with day one. Day one was just straight up getting there. And oh boy, it took forever to get there. Remember, like 2 to 3 hours? But yeah, day one was just straight up getting there. Which, it was pretty crazy. Yep, day one of 7 Days of Fun was just getting to the Thousand Islands. And holy frick, it was beautiful. Day 2 on August 28th was a boat day. Day 3 on August 29th was visiting Bolt Castle. That was freaking awesome. Literally, visiting this place was freaking amazing. Having it a part of the 7 Days of Fun event, just alongside just the trip in general, was awesome. So yep, day 3 of 7 Days of Fun 2022, Bolt Castle. God, this place is amazing. Day 4 on August 30th, 2022 was, well, it was actually a rainy day that day, so most of the day was just spent inside. So basically, it was inside the cottages day. Because it was a rainy day. Holy frick. So, not really much to say about this. Yep, it was basically just inside the cottage day. Because, yeah, literally. We really couldn't do much. It was raining. And it was like that the whole day. Day 5 will make up for it, though. Technically, we did this on August 29th, but it technically counts as August 31st because I actually made a video about it. Day 5 of the 7 Days of Fun 2022 was, well, a cool pool area. Basically, a pool that I found on August 29th right after the castle. And in this area, yeah, technically on August 29th I did swim in that pool. But I also found this crazy area. So that was also pretty cool. So yeah, I also found that crazy area too. Which my dad did show me before filming. Which was freaking insane, man. That was awesome. So day 5 was truly something special. It was a combination of two. This and this right here. And my God, that pool area was amazing. So that was day 5. Man, that place was awesome. Day 6, Thursday, September 1st, was, well, it was actually Night by the Docks. And not to also mention, it was also a bonfire as well. So basically, Night by the Docks with a few cousins of mine and a bonfire. That was seriously freaking cool. That was night 6. So it was a combination of 2 things. We even technically had a glow-in-the-dark frisbee, but I didn't show that. Because this was filmed like right after that, after we did that. So that would have been cool to show, but whatever. It didn't matter. This was also the introduction of the GoPro at the time. So, yeah. That was pretty interesting. Day 7. Day 7 was basically a repeat of day 2, because that's basically what we did that day. But this is actually when I was actually filming the boat videos. So I guess me filming the boat videos was day 7. The final day of 7 Days of Fun. You can tell this year, we basically did all new things. Entirely. I hope you all managed to pay attention within the last few minutes, because that's exactly what this was. Of course, the next 7 Days of Fun will be right back in my yard. Not unless I want to do it during 2023's New York trip, if that's actually a thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might do another one in New York again. But obviously not this cool, of course, because we aren't coming back here, unfortunately. Yeah, I forgot to tell you. That's actually true, actually. Anyway, that's it for 7 Days of Fun. Once again, it started August 27th and ended September 3rd. This had to be my favorite 7 Days of Fun of all time. The amount of originality, alongside just the trip itself, was freaking original as heck. Hands down, favorite 7 Days of Fun I've done yet. I don't know how this year's is gonna top it. Okay, enough rambling on about that one. It's time to go back to my backyard now. Celebration of Fall 2022. It started on September 20th and ended on the 27th. Yep, now we are back in my backyard. And this time, it was actually at daytime this time. Holy frick. Ultimately, this celebration of fall basically acted like all the other ones. There were fall decorations around the backyard. Basically, the same ones. That's pretty sweet. Yep, it was basically just fall decorations around the backyard as usual. But I don't think it was as good as the year prior. I truly feel it was just like the 2021 event again, except all the decorations were moved around. Yeah, it basically felt like the 2021 event, just without the leaves. That's the one major downfall, I'll admit. I was trying to add some new things. I just couldn't think of anything. Oh, never mind. Apparently adding a few of the Halloween pumpkins will do. So, okay, never mind. I spoke too soon. Apparently we did have a few new things in here. If not, if some of them came from Halloween. So yeah, never mind. Spoke too soon, guys. The problem. This was the last celebration of fall to use basically every single one of these decorations. Because in December of 2022, on December 30th, every single decoration here in the celebration of fall within the last 5 years has all been thrown out. Except for the fall hat. Yep, everything but the fall hat has been thrown out. So yep, this was the last celebration of fall to use basically every single decoration that I have been using within the last 5 years. So, yeah, I thought I'd just bring that up because now this year, there is completely new decorations. This is due to the fact that all of those decorations have been sitting in the shed for years. And were getting really messed up. But these weren't the only decorations that I got rid of. I'll talk about another set of them when we get to more of the end of the year, as there's another set of event decorations. Actually, 2 sets of decorations, and I'll talk about that when we get to the end of the year. Oh, I just dropped my phone, but point is, yeah, this event, yeah, this was the last year to use all those decks. Like, forever. I am not joking, guys. Legit, the final year. I never used these decorations again because they were thrown out 3 months later. Which means now, for Celebration of Fall 2023, I am now going to have to use completely new decorations whenever they are on sale later in the year. Without further ado, I thought I'd just bring that up. Ultimately, I'll admit, this was still a good Celebration of Fall. Maybe not as good as the year prior, but I'll admit, it was a nice one to say goodbye to the old decorations after 5 years. And honestly, I think it was a good one to end those off. As again, 3 months later, they would get thrown out. So, yeah, I think this was a good one to say goodbye to all those decks. Anyway, even though I didn't know at the time that 3 months later I would get rid of them. But honestly, I think I was probably ready to get rid of them at that point. Anyway, next! Now this is a celebration. The 1,000th episode party for Backyard Videos. It started on October 6th and ended on the 9th. During this party, did you know episode 1000 was supposed to be hit on September 2nd and would have been another New York milestone? Yep, that's right. I'm not joking. I did not make that up. It was delayed to October 6th due to the fact that I couldn't hit it in time for the actual trip. But honestly, I'm okay with this. Ultimately, though, hitting it on October 6th was still cool, because at least I finally hit it. 1,000 episodes, though. For that, I went all out. No wonder the video's stupid long. Anyway, a lot of things that made these episodes special made a return, such as the balls. And yes, that 1,000 pin was so freaking tiny that you could only win it via the soccer game, which was freaking awesome. It was a throwback to episode 600 and episode 900. There was even a bike segment, which, yeah, was tilted because I didn't realize. But, hey, a bike segment nonetheless. That was so freaking awesome. And lastly, but not least, to wrap up the episode, we had a project. Now, was every area in the backyard decorated? The answer, I think, was no. And despite it being 1,000 episodes, you may think the backyard would have been all decorated and stuff. Surprisingly, I don't think so. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, I think only the shed and workshop and pond view were decorated. Yep, I think that was it. Yep, I know. You'd think with 1,000, you'd think I would have gone even more nuts. But ultimately, I didn't do that. I went with how I similarly did it in episode 900, by only decorating areas that I would actually use during the episode. Which honestly was a very smart move. As if I decorated everywhere else, it would take forever to clean up. And while did this party take forever to clean up? No, because I only decorated maybe like 3 or 4. Oh, this is where I go in saying I spoke too soon, because I sure frickin' did. Tripod area was decorated as well. Okay, guys, I spoke too soon. I think I did. Okay, I spoke too soon, everybody. I decorated basically the whole backyard. I spoke too soon, everybody. Okay, so some areas were related to past milestone episodes. Well, just the past milestone parties, such as the 400 episode party and 500 episode party, for example. Those are just clear examples. So never mind, guys, I spoke too soon. I didn't decorate everywhere. And ultimately, with all these rooms decorated in mind, it didn't even take that long to clean up. Now, I brought back that room there specifically because it was October, which made sense. Point is, guys, that's super cool. Let's move on to the next events. You guys are not going to believe this. We are actually almost to the end of the year. Like, literally, we are almost done. The Halloween logo, though. It started on October 20th, or actually started October 21st, and ended on the 27th. It originally had an end date of October 24th, but then I realized that would have been way too short. The premise of this event. During this vote, you guys, the viewers / subscribers, had an option between that logo and that one down there. Did any of them win? It's unknown because nobody voted except for me and my mom. Which, genuinely, I have no clue which one won. Ultimately, though, they did look extremely beautiful, and I truly had a fun time making these logos. All for them to just be a waste of time. Well, actually, no, they weren't actually. I spoke a little too soon there. I think I actually used both of these logos. But speaking of that length, the Halloween party, we're about to get to that in a minute, and because it is true, that length actually did make sense. And yes, there was even construction on it at the time. Ultimately, though, there wasn't much to say about this event. It was nice to have a logo vote after, like, a few years. Anyway, that's it. And here's the next main event, the Halloween party of 2022. It started on October 27th and ended November 3rd. So basically the second week of the Zola's Up 2 Halloween party. During this party, there was actually a very unique feature. While I don't think I actually showed it in the actual video, it was a mode where you can make the backyard dark. I don't think I showed it, but actually, let me see if I actually did show it. Oh, I think I did actually. So I had to do it via my phone, but since I was recording on my GoPro at the time, which is what I now use as of September 1st, 2022 to record videos in real life, you'll notice that in here, you'll notice that by doing, say, that, it makes the backyard look dark in a way. So that was the unique feature. Outside of that, was this any better than 2021? Probably not. But the shirt looked pretty sweet. There was actually a shirt for the dark version of the party, which I later showcased on Halloween itself. And yes, Halloween scarf was available as usual. And actually, I forgot to mention that in 2021's party. But there was a lot going for it. There was actually some new decorations like 2021. And that sign was back after 2 years. So that was something. And ultimately, that's it. There's really not much to say. There wasn't really too much to this party unlike 2021. Except... Oh yeah, and here's the shirt to prove I wasn't joking. There was actually a candy hunt. For the first time since 2020. That's right. There was actually a candy hunt this time. After not having one in 2021. I told you I would bring it back the next year as an apology for not having it that year. But yeah, I wasn't joking. We're back. And oh boy, it was awesome. That was from October 31st to November 3rd. Despite it only being there for one day though. October 31st. So I guess we can make it that. Anyway, outside of that, I guess that's what made this party a little special. We finally had a candy hunt after 2 years. That's really awesome. That's really all that needs to be said. Oh wait, the darkness wasn't the only aspect of this party. No! The Halloween wreath from 2019 was finally unraveled to be garland. And there was purple Halloween colors now in this party. So that also made this different from the 2021 party. Sorry about so much comparison. But you really got to see that, yeah, it looked cool. There was now purple Halloween colors, which looked awesome. And it truly showed that there was a lot more originality with this party than I intentionally thought. With that being said, that is it for this event. And now we jump all the way to December because, surprise, just like January, there was no event in November. However, this is actually for a reason. I was sick for over half of November, so I couldn't make an event at the time in the backyard. So, purposely, I was too sick enough to not make an event. So, I had to wait until I felt better at the end of the month. Now, I still could make stuff in ZL2 and Legos Island. I just didn't have enough energy for the backyard. That was just a little too much for me at the time. So, I took November off. But kicking off December, the final month of the year, we have the Night of Lights of 2022. Yeah, I know, you were probably waiting to hear that at some point. Because, yeah, you were probably wondering, where the heck was it all here? Well, I purposely saved it for December, the Christmas season. It made sense around the time. Because, well, it actually makes sense. Hold it around the Christmas season. And I think people will truly get a good one out of it. There were all new lights in this event, such as the rainbow lights. And I think are actually still here today, which is awesome. I know, that's awesome. It started on December 3rd and ended on the 10th. As usual, I'm not going to go through all of these because holy frick, there are so many to go through. But yeah, that was freaking amazing. And yes, because it was the holiday season, we did have the candy canes as well. Frick, I don't have the right footage. But that's besides the point. Yeah. There was one thing, similar to the Halloween version of the Night of Lights in 2020. There was actually Christmas decorations hung around, because it was December. And ultimately, yeah, it was almost Christmas. So I thought, why not hang up some Christmas decorations to get ready for the actual event later in the month, which I will talk about right in a few minutes. Probably a few seconds, actually. But I thought I'd just bring that up. Those were the actual workshop lights, and those are around the time I actually got my permanent workshop lights. Or at least the ones that I have until now. But yeah, there were lights everywhere. And ultimately, this was an extremely fun Night of Lights that I truly had a lot of fun making. And ultimately, yep, you can see there's even more Christmas lights. That's freaking awesome. Well, not lights, just decoration. My bad. Sorry, I am so close to being done that now I'm even messing up. But it didn't matter. But it doesn't matter. I'm almost done anyway. But yeah, you could tell those look freaking pretty. Anyway, it was just a Christmas-themed version of the Night of Lights, but it was mainly the Night of Lights of the year. So we can just move on right now. And also in commemoration to not having an actual winter party this year in 2022, there were winter-themed lights and decorations also placed around the backyard as well to make up for no winter party. But I didn't completely give up on the idea for the winter party, though. Because that's where the Christmas event comes in. The final event of the year. The Christmas Party 2022. Or, as it's actually named, the Christmas plus Winter Fair. It started on December 14th and was originally supposed to end on December 27th, but I extended it by 2 days due to the cold front in Florida at the time, and waited for that to go away before taking down the winter party. Oh, sorry, just the Christmas party in general. Yep, due to the ongoing cold front in Florida at the time, which ran through Christmas, I decided to keep the event up for 2 days. Also, because this party was mostly, if not even more fun than the year prior. So, yeah. Yes, and the fair was actually a new event at the time. So that can also explain. Holy frick, we finally got another new event. This party was so freaking awesome that holy frick, it was freaking amazing. There was so much with this party, and the logo was freaking amazing. And yes, there was a missing gift scavenger hunt at the time, where we would have to search for presents around the backyard. The backyard was decorated with so many Christmas and winter stuff all at once to make up for no winter party. This was so freaking cool, and it truly showed that I had a lot of care put in for some events that couldn't make it through the year. And yes, that's exactly what I did. And yes, I forgot to mention, during the Night of Lights, the candy canes were actually a part of the Night of Lights, which was freaking awesome, as it truly showed that I did not forget about those. And yes, all the lights stayed in the same spots the whole time. And yes, you're right. Here's one thing you probably realized. It actually ended December 29th. I finally didn't let it go past January 1st this time. Woo! Finally. But that's besides the point. Yeah, that's something else. I finally didn't let it go into January this time. The missing gifts, on the other hand. To find each missing gift, you had to go around the backyard to find the missing presents. Ultimately, this was to find certain items, such as the Christmas Plus Winter Fair shirt, which I didn't showcase in the actual video because I was running out of time, because I was getting pretty busy that night, so I didn't have enough time to showcase the shirt. But I at least did something. But ultimately, this was a really fun party, and you really think we're done? Oh, frick no. Not even 24 hours since the event went up, and there were already massive improvements. Speaking of which, remember I said during the Celebration of Fall portion that majority of decorations would get thrown out in later events? Yep, the same thing happened for the winter and Christmas parties as well. For those two events, since they were combined, most of their decorations from all previous years got thrown out. This was due to the fact of the same reason. This was due to them being in the shed for years and getting really messed up in the process. So in total, we replaced them with all new decorations. And that's where the massive update happened on December 15th. Not even 24 hours after the event released. And we ultimately got ourselves probably the best backyard Christmas event of all freaking time. That's right, the biggest backyard Christmas event of all time. This is my honest, all-time favorite backyard Christmas event I have ever made. I am still way too proud of this event, and I truly just love it. This was awesome. So ultimately, yeah, I had to literally replace basically every single one of my decorations. I was fine though with this though. I had been using the same decorations for 5 years straight. I think it was finally time to move on. And, well, it delivered. Because holy frick, the massive update was awesome. Bringing in so much more to this event. With it being merged with the winter party as well, brought even more fun content. And it was awesome. There was a fair game, which was on December 16th, respectively. The fair game was the dartboard. Well, there was more planned, but I didn't have time, because that month was freaking insane. But you could tell every decoration in this event was basically all brand new, which was awesome. So, with that being said, that, my fellow viewers, concludes 2022 for the backyard after over an hour. It is 20 minutes to midnight. I know for a fact I'm not getting this up before midnight. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching 2022 events for the backyard. Who knows what we're going to get into in 2023. Only 2 events have gone up as of recording this, which is the New Year's party and the car party 5th anniversary. Next up, as of recording this video, is the winter party. And then we go on from there. See you next time. And we'll be back in a year to take a look at 2023. See you then.